Hey everyone, welcome to BJJ and Brews. I'm one of your co-hosts, Noah John. Before we get started with today's conversation with Paul Rodriguez, head coach at American Top Team Orlando, or as we like to call it, a tribe martial arts community, Chris and I would like to give a shout out and a big thank you to Nicole Cooley from Constellation Brands for providing us with some Corona hard seltzer, which fueled the podcast. Nicole, thank you so much. If any of you out there are really into seltzers, you want to check them out. They're super awesome and delicious. Paul, thank you for making the time to record this conversation with us. We had a blast. We hope you had a blast as well. And most importantly, to those of you listening, we hope you enjoy this conversation as much as we enjoyed making it. Enjoy the show. Anyway. Let's talk about Eli puking.
Eli is the king of puking. So, like, what do you attribute that to? He can push himself harder than any normal person can, right? Like, is that ultimately what it is?
We just say he has a weak stomach. That's what I prefer saying. But it might be that. That's a nice way to say he's got the willpower.
Yeah, we have no clue. He just drinks too much, we think. Yeah.
Is it? I mean, like, because he's puking up. It's like a dry heave every time. I mean, like, it's recorded, but I never actually get a good shot of it.
Well, no. Last time, he was actually chucking up water last time.
Oh, was
it? It was like, whoop! It was bad, man.
How's your weight cutting going?
Mine?
Yeah, abs are coming.
No, I'm on track. So I got what's the day today?
Today's what, the 10th?
The 10th.
Yeah, April 10th.
Yeah, so I have 5 weeks, so I'll be right on track.
What did you start at?
Like 95, 96.
You were 90. Jesus.
Yeah, well, we were on a ski. I mean, like, you know, we were on 4 skiing trips in about 4 weeks there. So we were just eating and drinking. And, you know, so when we came back in January, Noah was there. He saw me on the slopes that night. So,
oh, yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Lost a lot of momentum.
Oh, well, a lot of gravity at play.
Inertia.
Yeah, and he's the best skier of the group, but he didn't look that.
Yeah, I got my lift ticket taken away, if that says anything. Have you ever known anyone that got a lift ticket taken away?
Wait, hang on. This I've never skied in my life. So what are grounds for getting your lift ticket taken away?
Well, one of them is being too intoxicated. They don't trust that you're actually skiing safely. So I had a group of rangers follow me down the mountain, and it was bad. So, but no, it was just like I said. It was December. We were December and early January. We did a lot of skiing trips, so we were having a good time at the end of the year. And I knew going into next year that just gonna try to turn it around. So here we are.
Because once I started working out with you and Eli, I've sort of like forgotten about any sort of programming. Not that I was into that much, but what is the program that you're following, or what's kind of the mindset you have going into this when planning each week with Eli? Because you were doing it for Eli. I looked at it as that you were getting, obviously you in shape, but also you're getting Eli
so
ready for his fight.
Once we realized that this whole Corona thing was going down and he wasn't fighting anymore, we kind of switched things up a little bit and went into more like GPP, general preparation stuff. So prior to that, it was more just getting him in shape and getting him stronger and getting him in shape and getting, at the same time, not putting any weight on him. But obviously, since he wasn't fighting, we kind of switched things up a little bit and stuff. So it's changed a little bit. Now we're just trying to do some general prep. We're not doing anything too crazy and stuff like that. We are doing a still push pull, upper body, lower body thing. We're not doing necessarily a bro split or a bodybuilding split or anything like that yet, but we're close to it. But we haven't done anything like that yet.
When do you, in your programming, like at what point, like what's the purpose of the bro split? Like where would you fit that in, and for what purpose?
Oh, just aesthetics, purely aesthetics. Yeah. Yeah.
Each season's coming, bro.
Yeah, just
abs are coming.
Yeah, no, just pure aesthetics. Yeah, so like no, I like I said, I'm not a big proponent of it. I think it's obviously the bodybuilders, all the guys who the fitness physiques and the pro bodybuilders all use that thing, so it has a good track record in that sense, but it actually has the biggest track record of people not getting in shape, because pretty much 99% of the people in traditional gyms are on that type of workout and they all look like crap. So it is what it is, so but it is good switch up, because especially for me and Eli, if we do more traditional strength training or more sport specific stuff, it is fun just to change it up once in a while, and that's kind of what we've been doing the last month here in this lockdown, so.
How much has your weight training and your strength and conditioning changed over the years? I mean, I've known you for a while now, and I've seen it kind of evolve.
Yeah, it has and it hasn't, because, man, in 2000, when I got my, when I graduated back in the day and I got my CSCS, I was super into it. I was on top of everything. Now I'm barely, I might, I don't know. So now I'm barely, I still follow a lot of the research, but I still have a membership to PubMed, but I barely look at the stuff anymore. So before it was and some of that is just because if you stay on there too long, no matter, you can just find whatever you want to do, you can find evidence to support your ideas. It's probably like everything in life, So if you have an opinion, you can probably find some sort of evidence to back your opinion. That's just true. It's definitely true with weight training. So that's so I'd say it's switched, but the stuff that I had progress with back in the day, I'm still kind of when you said about kettlebells. I used to be big into kettlebells back in between 03 and 010, like 2010. And I kind of got away from it and stuff, but I've like I said, I know how to use them and stuff. But when I look at some of the stuff, it's good, but I'm just not on top of it as much. So yes, it has evolved. Yes, it has trained. But I think more, I'm really into instinctive training now. I'm really into especially with if you train martial arts and you do a lot of stuff, man, I don't care what program you're on. Sometimes when you get to the gym in the morning, you're just not going to hit those numbers. You're just not going to hit those weights. So if you sparred the day before and you grappled the night before and then you got to come in the weight room in the morning, 8 in the morning, you're just not going to hit those numbers. So you got to be pretty instinctive in what you're doing. And you have to have a lot of years to know what that means. So I'm hesitant to say that because I don't want to, how do I say this?
It's your opinion.
Well, no, it is, but I don't want to give the pussies enough, okay, I don't feel good today, so I'm not going to train hard. And that's usually why I don't ever talk about stuff like that. And I don't talk about overtraining because it just gives pussies an excuse to not train or not do, okay, I'm just, because you feel like shit every day. I feel like shit, that's not what I'm saying, I'm saying that, so.
So do you, I was listening to a podcast the other day about, I forgot who it was, but he was talking about how it was Adesanya, I think it was, where they take their VO2 max or their variable heart rate in the morning and they can tell whether they're overtrained or not. And they use that as a metric of how hard they're going to go that day. Do you subscribe to that sort of thing? Or
yeah, we'll see. So yeah, I think there's some validity to that, but I don't even need to go that far. I could just wake up and know. I don't need to put anything on my chest and know. After, I don't know, 30 years of training, you kind of just know, how you feel sometimes, And granted, like I said, there's motivational things, there's mental things, there's stressors in your life, but I do agree with that, but I know all the guys have put a lot of time in their training. There is some value in instinctive training, but like I said, I'm cautious in saying that because that just gives guys who just are lazy and guys who are wusses, I'm tired or I'm sore, I'm this, I'm that, bitch, you've been training a few years and you're not, you're just lazy, you're just tired. So and I'll say this, we always err on the side of going harder than lighter, it's hardly ever that we'll but so in terms of actually programming stuff, we have guidelines, but we don't have any strict numbers that we follow and stuff like that, and then obviously we'll obviously, especially when guys are fighting or you're competing, that's more important than anything in the weight room, so what they're doing on the mats is more important than anything of that. So
how do you do you think it's possible to develop strength and conditioning or improve your numbers, improve your strength, improve your endurance?
No.
With the lifting? No. While also training? No. But
no.
It's it's an either or sort of thing.
Yes, you can only ride fucking. You have one ass. You can't ride two horses. So yes, you are not going to get stronger. So you can get stronger while you're training, yes, but you can't get stronger while you're training to compete. You can't get stronger while you're training to fight. Now, if you're a beginner, you can get strong. If you're a beginner, you're weak already, so you can get stronger doing anything. So, but after a few years of training, no, you're not going to add numbers to your strength training. You're not going to lower your 40 time. You're not going to lower your 4 minute mile. You're not going to, your mile. I'm sorry, 4 minute mile. But you're not going to lower your mile time while you're getting ready for a fight, and nor should you even be trying. So yeah, that's the thing. You can't you can't do both things at one time, you know. So whatever's more important. If deadlifting is more important than winning your fight, then deadlift. If winning your fight is more important, then train for your fight. But now, can you get stronger in between them when you're not in the gym as much and you're actually physically trying to get stronger? I think there's certain numbers that people should always try to hit. Certain guidelines that people should try to hit in between camps and stuff like that. So that's, you know, like, you should be able to deadlift 2 times your body weight. If you can't, then you should be in the gym, you know. Like, but once you get past that, maybe you don't need any more than that. So stuff like that, I think is
so
good. If
you're in off season and you're an MMA fighter, you're a jiu-jitsu fighter, and you want to develop your technique, is it a fruitless effort to be like, I want to develop my technique by putting hours in on the mat, and also I want to get stronger by developing? Is that also an either or proposition?
No, not at all. Because you can drill technique and you can improve your strength in the gym at the same time. Yes. What you can't do is you can't spar. You can't condition the fight. You can't, like Chris was saying, you can't put a heart rate monitor on and get your VO2 max up for your and train intensely, and then go into the weight room and say, okay, I'm gonna deadlift heavy. I'm gonna deadlift 90% of my 1 rep max tonight, because that's just not gonna happen. So you can't do those 2 things. But if you're just drilling throughout the day and then you're going to kick ass at night, but if you think you're gonna kick ass at night, then kick ass in the afternoon, then kick ass, you know, later that night, it's just not gonna happen, you know. So something's got to give there and stuff like that. So it just depends on where you're at in your training phase and where you're at in general, you know. Like I said, once they're professional athletes, they should probably have enough strength. That's probably why they're professionals, because they've already developed that strength to compete.
But they have to put some effort to maintain it. It's not like it doesn't.
So yes and no. Like I actually think that maintaining strength, I think this is, I say this all the time, and I'm saying this right now because we're kind of shut down. For you guys that come back after not training for a month, and, you know, if you come back and you're like, I haven't trained in a month and I'm out of shape, I'm like, bitch, you were never in shape, because you don't. It takes a long time to get in shape, but it takes some time to lose it too. It's the same thing with strength. It takes a long time to get strong, but it takes a long time to lose that strength too.
That's one of those things. Like,
it's easy to maintain it for sure.
Easy, like, the body doesn't spend all its resources building strength and all that to just lose it overnight. Right?
Yeah,
like, that's the biggest thing.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Yeah,
it's so resource hungry.
Because I don't. It's going to be weird me saying this, but I went through a phase where I didn't weight train for 6-7 years, and I mean, I didn't really lose that much strength.
You didn't weight train for 6 or 7? Like, you mean like on a program? You did just like?
No, I probably didn't go to the gym. I mean, I actually, I know this because I had a membership at, where did I have a membership at? LA Fitness. I had a membership at LA Fitness, and for like 5 years, and I never went. But I would always say I'm going back the next month, kind of like everyone does with everything. But like, literally, I was paying a membership for 5 years, and I was like, I'm going to go next month. I'm going to start next month. And I never canceled it, but I just paid for 5 years, and I never went. You know, and I think eventually, like,
That's funny, because I've heard like Stan Efferding say, like, he has the analogy of he believes it's like it takes more effort to increase. I think he's talking about strength and muscle size, but in his case, but it takes more effort to do it, but half the effort to maintain it. So same sort of idea, where it's like, to gain, you need to put in this effort from diet and exertion and whatever program you're doing, but then when you need to maintain that, you don't need to be at that level of intensity.
Like, gaining, in order to create gains, you have to provide enough stimulus to be able to stimulate change, right? And like the natural processes that are involved with that. But like, to maintain, once you've reached that level, then right, like, that's just a matter of.
Well, again, I'm
yeah, no, like I said, I'm just saying, like, where I could not lift for 2 years and come back and probably get to where I'm at now in like 6 weeks.
And how much do you attribute that to just the certain level of exertion you do just through martial arts training? Like, how that's got to be what's helping you maintain, right?
Well, no, maybe a little bit, but no, just like I said, I just think it's just because, like, the human body, I just, like I said, it's just kind of it's just naturally known, like, especially people who, like, you don't lose strength as fast as you think you do. You don't lose conditioning as fast as you think you do either. That's why when people are like, I took a week off and now I can't breathe, I'm like, bitch, you weren't in shape. Like, you don't lose your conditioning in a week, you know. It takes 8 to 12 weeks to get conditioned. It takes 8 to 12 weeks to lose conditioning. Like,
so is it a matter of they feel that way because they're performing movements less efficiently?
It's psychological.
So it's a timing thing and stuff?
A little bit of it, yeah. It's a, I don't know, a coping mechanism, I guess. It's an excuse, I guess, you know. Like, but I just know that that's not the case. I know you would have felt like this 8 weeks ago. It's just not that. That's not the case. So it takes a little bit longer than people think to. That's why, like, even now, like I said, we've been out for like 4 weeks now. Like I said, if you weren't in great shape, you're not going to be in great shape when you come back. If you were in good shape before you left, you're not going to be that bad when you come back. It's just. In fact, that's why I say, like, some people are like, I've been out 2 weeks. I'm like, well, fuck, you should feel like $1 million today then. Like how many guys have taken 2 weeks off and come back and felt like you didn't get out of shape in those 2 weeks. You feel like $1 million when you're back because you were in good shape when you left. Like you didn't lose conditioning in 2 weeks. So it's a little bit like that with strength. So and strength is definitely a skill. So that's the other reason why you don't lose it. Like there's technique in it. There's so like that. If you know how to deadlift and stuff, you have if you have the proper motor patterns and stuff. It's easier to groove back when you come back and stuff.
So what is your advice to people right now who have no access to the tribe and limited access to things like weights?
I don't know. Work on your mental health. That's like, I honestly like. This is gonna sound bad, but if I see one more person armbar a fucking pillow or do a lunge with a fucking laundry detergent fucking thing, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm like, and I'm trying not to be pessimistic, but I'm like literally watching people go knee on stomach on a basketball, and I'm like, what? It's driving me fucking insane. Like I, granted, and I get you're trying to do something, but it's just like, no, I actually, no one's doing this except for the people, the influencers on fucking, they're like, hey, do this, so no one's really doing this. No one's like grabbing their wife and moving the coffee table and slamming them in a triangle in the fucking living room, like, I know this is not happening, so I'm just like, but so I don't know what the solution is. If you're already fitness minded and health minded, you're already running and hiking and you're doing some push-ups, you're not actually grabbing the fucking milk jugs and trying to do curls in your fucking kitchen, it's driving me insane. But I get it, everyone's got to market, everyone's got to look like they're doing something and shit, and stuff like that. So I don't know, but my advice would be just, heal your body. Definitely, like, I'd really would work on your mind and stuff. Read some books. like literally, like that's that. Like you should be studying.
Is that what you've been doing more of?
No, that's what I've been doing a lot of. I've been but don't get me wrong. I've been training a lot, but yeah, no, that would be my advice. That's why I literally haven't until we started filming some videos today to review some stuff. But that's why I like some of the virtual stuff. I'm like, they're like. They've popped up on my feed. I'm watching guys do jumping jacks in the living room and shit, and I'm like, who the fuck is doing this? Who the fuck is doing this? Like who, who's doing this? I just, and I'm like, and cool if you are, that's cool. But like just go to the park and hike, go walk. Like, I don't know, So, but some of the shit I see out there, people are bowling their fucking dining room chairs and shit. I'm like, I mean, Jesus Christ, man, like
ladder jiu-jitsu. I saw someone with a ladder that they.
Yeah, so I'm saying, I don't know if this is for views or likes, or if they really want the person to go grab a dining room chair and fucking work on going inverted on the dining room chair. Like literally, is this really what you think is going to improve their jiu-jitsu, or you just like want to get a like and you want to be like, and I'm really into positivity. I want you to be positive, but like there's other ways to be positive about telling them to do stupid fucking shit.
Well, I'm just kind of wondering what. And this is I like this, but I'm just wondering if, like, 20 years ago, before social media was so prevalent, before it existed, how would this pandemic been influenced by that? Because so much of what we talk about,
we'd probably be a lot happier. Like, I think,
Well, that's independent of having a pandemic. Like, I mean, I think people have shown it's like depression's gone up because of social media. It's like we're like kids are getting wired, so they get little dopamine shots whenever they get a like. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. Like that's its own kind of thing. But it is weird that, we talk about how news is shared on social media, but now whatever your passion is, whatever your hobby is, whatever your sport is, people in that field are barambol. In our case, we're baramboloing tables and stuff.
It's funny.
No,
I was listening to an article on NPR about this, and they were like, these like personal trainers who, like, their lifeblood is like live, personal training. And they're going to this like free model on Zoom and whatever the hell it is, and they're like, they're afraid that when this pandemic's over and people can go back to group classes, that people who have gone to these Zoom will stop doing that because they've lost the value of like the actual personal training. They're only going to gravitate towards free content moving forward. But my thought was, like, it's sort of like you said, people who are already fitness minded, they're gonna stay fitness minded regardless, right?
Yeah,
like, and when everything's back to
and
normal,
if
they'll
you're
just go
not
back to what it was.
fitness-minded,
Right?
You're not fucking doing lunges with your Tide bottle, you know.
Yeah, you'll find something else to do.
Yeah,
right?
you're just like you're fucking eating, you know, like I don't know. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but I saw somebody like arm barring a pillow the other day. Like, imagine this pillow has an arm, and they're like arm barring it, and dude, I wanted to go jump off the third story of my apartment because I didn't know what I was just like, you know, and I'm actually like a pretty positive guy right now with everything going on, you know. And I'm just
so
like,
I should throw away my grappling dummy.
no, I'm not.
Like,
I'm not saying that. I'm just like you know, it's just, you know, and I get it, you know, like you. I don't know. I don't get it, but whatever, you know. So my advice would be like, just, you know, stay active as best you can. You know, I don't think anybody is doing some of the shit I see in that, but you know, like I said, go for a walk, stay active, go for a jog, do some push-ups outside. You know, get outside. That's fucking the best thing you can do. If you can go for a fucking, you know.
That's what this like pandemic and quarantine is. I've noticed it's like. Now people can't use the "I don't have time" excuse anymore, right? Because we got all the fucking time in the world, and like, and I was kind of trolling people, but I didn't really get any of a response of it. But like, you have the time now, and you always use, "Oh, I don't have time to exercise." Before, are you exercising now? You say you're gonna read more. You got all the fucking time in the world.
All the time in the world.
Are you reading more?
Nope, no one is.
And it's like it's been the ultimate filter for what is really important to people and what's not, right? Like, because if you're a fucking couch potato, I almost guarantee you.
Yeah, you've watched a lot of Netflix.
You've watched that goddamn Tiger King 3 times through already,
you've watched
right?
a bunch of shows and shit. I agree. Yeah, no, yeah.
So it's like it's been like sort of like a truer like reflection on ourselves to who we really, really are.
Right. And that's, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of which, you read that Shakespeare passage the other day. You don't give yourself enough credit for how good of a speaker you actually are. Because I think there's something to teaching class all day and being very clear and concise with your language that forces you to be a better speaker, and you've done a very good job of that. So outside of jiu-jitsu and reading, or what do you read on a regular basis?
So right now, I mean, lately I've been reading a lot of books on finance, unfortunately. So I've been trying to read stuff on like accounting and stuff like that. So I'm working on a book right now on that. Definitely, it's an election year, so I've been reading, unfortunately, too much shit on politics and
I know who you're not voting for.
Yeah, you know who I'm not voting for. So, but that's not necessarily true. Well, actually, we do know who the nominee is. So, we pretty much know who the nominee is on the other side. So, yeah, that's safe to say. But so I've been reading a lot of that and stuff like that. But I haven't. But yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, like with the post I made before, I'm back on my Shakespeare tip and stuff. I read The 12th Night the other night. So,
what's your favorite Shakespeare
story, right?
Story, yeah, play, story, whatever.
As You Like.
Okay, that was what you read, the passage from.
No, that was Titus Andronicus. Yeah, that was a gory. So that's probably my favorite one, you know. But yeah, so I've it's been a long time. It's been, like I said, it's been 8-9 years since I was reading it a lot and stuff like that. So I kind of got back into it and stuff recently. But yeah, no, I'm not reading as much as I'd like. Like I'd like to say. So here's the thing. I haven't watched any Netflix shows. That's for sure. And it's funny because I don't want to get sucked in because I can't get sucked in like everybody else, you know. So I'm like, God, I've never watched Breaking Bad. I've never watched Game of Thrones. I've never watched all these fucking shows, you know. So I'm like, I'm not going to start it because I will be compulsive and watch it. But the other day, I've watched all 6 fucking Rambos for some reason. Even though I watched them, even though I've seen them.
6 what?
Rambos. Even though I've seen them.
like cable TV. So the funny thing about this whole thing is he lives in an apartment complex
that forces you to have cable. So I have cable.
If he did it's not his choice.
It's not a choice. Like I have to. You have to.
So now it's on. It's like, oh look, Rambo's on.
Yeah. So I watched Rambo 1, and then Rambo 2, and then Rambo 3, and then Rambo 4.
Wait, you watched all 6? So you leading up to Last Blood?
So I've watched them all, yeah. So just because they were on. I mean, I've seen them all. I knew the dialogue. I'm like, should I just start new something? So at least I'd be engaged. So I'm not trying to sound like I'm not this guy that's like working out and reading 12 hours a day and stuff like that. I'm not that. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not that guy and stuff like that. I am training a lot. I am reading more than I did when we were open. Obviously.
Which Rambo did you like the most, Paul?
I like the first one the best.
Do you?
Yeah,
because that's like the purest Rambo,
I like
right?
I like the first one the best and stuff. You know, it was filmed.
I have a heart for the second one just because like that's like my family, right? Like it's like Rambo helped save my family, right? Like I wouldn't be here without John Rambo.
No, but that's what like so no. I mean, I'm not, it's like I said, I won't say that I'm like, you know. So the other day I was actually thinking, should I just watch a show because at least it'd be something new? Because I'm like, you know, because I just have white noise in the background. It sucks me in, you know. So it's the same with like the Batman. The Batman movies are on every day, it seems like, and the
Dark Knight ones.
Yeah, and the Justice League movies are on every day. So I mean, just like I've seen them all so many times and stuff. So I don't know, you know. So that's kind of been the last month, I guess, you know. But I am training a lot. I'm reading a lot. I'm working on a lot of stuff here, but not as much as I should be, though. I will admit that, you know. So
how much from a lifestyle perspective? Obviously, these are unique times, but your day to day as a head instructor and owner of this gym, how is your day to day differed from what it was like when you were a professional fighter fighting actively?
Man, that's a good question. How's my day to day different? I had a lot less to worry about when I was fighting. That's all I worried about. That's all I did. That's all I never had to. I was a lot more disciplined, I should say, you know.
A lot more disciplined then?
Yeah, but it was easier to be disciplined because all I had to do was just make sure that I trained here, I recovered here, I made sure I did this, you know. So I was very disciplined in that sense, you know. I'd say I have a lot more responsibility now, which I'm not as disciplined as, you know, which I should be more disciplined in terms of some of the responsibilities I have as a business owner. But so that's definitely changed a little bit. But no, I was definitely a lot more serious when I was fighting. You know, I was definitely more cautious of what I ate, cautious of what I did, you know, like it's just, you know, so.
But you had what you would say is a narrower set of responsibilities also.
Oh, clearly, yeah. That's all I had to worry about. That's basically all I
Who handled your programming back then? Was it you, or did you like rely on some people that were?
So with the strength training stuff, mostly me, but I didn't, like I said, but when I was fighting, that wasn't necessarily the most important thing. That was just like, you know, but when I like I said, so the strength training thing was I would kind of write my own things, but I would always do it around what other people had me scheduled to do, you know. So if Bobby had me hitting pads, and if I was sparring on Mondays and Thursdays in pro sparring, and Bobby had me hitting pads on Mondays, I didn't have a lot of time in between. Okay, so maybe I can hit the gym on this day and this day. So I was like, what could I do here that won't hurt these days, you know? And like I said, so, and that's what I mean, you know. But when I wasn't fighting, I didn't have to do all the extra stuff, you know. So that's why I was going back to our earlier conversation about when you get stronger and when you do that and stuff like that. So that's a little different, you know. So, but yeah, I did, and it wasn't very prudent, you know. I wish, like I said, but it was depending on when you're talking about. Like when we first started, there was no coaches in our sport. When me and Dean first started, there was no coaches in our sport, you know.
Yeah, that's the interesting part, right? Like in terms of like skill development, programming, all that sort of stuff. Like I've always known you as a coach, right? Like, and at what point did you have to switch from I'm developing skill, coming up with new things, new strategies, because you're working on it for yourself versus also working on it for your business as an instructor? Because like that's when I first met you, was when you were an instructor,
right.
kind of
trying
to do both.
When I first started coaching and teaching, all I coached and teach was like other fighters. That was a little easier, you know, for sure. It changed it up when you're talking about more for the general population and stuff. So like my first few years, all I worked with was when I actually started helping coach and teaching and training, was literally like, this is what you have to do to be successful in a cage. I didn't really teach too many. That was later on and stuff like that. So it's a little different in terms of that and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question with some of that. I think with the fighters, it's easy. You know, like I knew what they were doing. I knew what they had to do. I knew what they had to go through and stuff like that. And then the biggest thing is as Jiu-Jitsu and at least Muay Thai and this martial art, MMA, got more popular, it opened up the demographics. More people started training, and and rightfully so. People should train. There's a million reasons to train jiu-jitsu, and I'll say this, and I've said this before, like, whatever your reason is, like, fuck everybody else. That's your reason for training. If your reason to learn jiu-jitsu is to fight in the UFC one day, then that's your reason. If your reason is to lose 20 pounds, that's your reason. If your reason is because you want stress release, that's your fucking reason. Don't let any. If your reason is to get a black belt, I hate when people say don't chase a belt. If you want to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu, don't fucking let anyone tell you not to want to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That's your fucking reason, you know? So, but as the demographics got bigger, when I started training early, it was just like the only reason you want to learn jiu-jitsu was the fight. That was the biggest, you know. So as it's changed, you know, that's my role as a coach has changed too, you know. Like the curriculum has changed a little bit. Okay, now how do we make this to where more people can participate and get the benefits that they're trying to see out of it without necessarily watering it down, you know? And that's a long discussion there. That's
another podcast.
Yeah, no, that's my you know, I don't want to rant today, so I'm not being pessimistic today, so.
You know, there's no pessimism. So like how, because like I'm an instructional guy, like that's how I feel I sort of learn the best, and it's almost like academic where I feel like I learn the best when I watch something, I learn from you, I take notes about it, I take mental notes about it, and I have to like sort of like repeat it in my head and drill it. What have you always done? Because I think you said you said you don't like instructionals, you actually like watching tape, right? Like because you do a lot of very unique stuff. Like, how much of it is like laboratory on the mat? You have something in mind you want to work on to add it to your curriculum, so you play with it against students without them really knowing it to get a real good look at it. Like, how do you structure that?
I think that's I think part of that is true, you know, like some of the stuff that because like I was thinking about this the other day, because someone asked me the other day, I was wearing I got to address this about this the other day, but when we were in here training, me and Noah were drilling, and I was wearing a blue belt, and someone asked me like why I'm wearing a blue belt and shit. Now I'm not protesting jiu-jitsu or anything, like fucking there was no like, but like the new
it's okay to just joke, right? Like,
yeah, well no, but there's this thing where like I got my black belt into 2008, 2009, somewhere in there, and when I got my black belt, there was a lot of, what year is it? 2020. So that's 12 years ago, 13 years ago. So 12 years ago, there's a lot of stuff in jiu-jitsu now that wasn't there. So like when the lapel guard came out and when the worm guard came out, there's a lot of stuff that I was a black belt, I didn't know any of that shit. So there's a you know, and which is fine. You don't need to know any of that shit if you're a black belt at a certain level, you know, a certain thing. But if you're an instructor, you need to know that shit. You need to know everything that's in jiu-jitsu, because whether you use it or not, your students may need to know it. You need to pass that down. So there was a time where like so there's certain things that I'm learning right now that I don't you guys, I'll let you guys in on it now and everyone here, but that I learn, and you know, so I consider myself a certain belt and a certain guard, a certain thing that I'm learning right now. So you're not a black belt in everything. Like Ryan Martin. Ryan's one of my black belts, but Ryan actually knows the lockdown way better than I do. You know, I would consider him a way better person in terms of knowing a lot of stuff from there and stuff like that. But I'm getting closer to that, you know, like stuff like that. So I think there's certain guards, there's certain things and there's certain aspects, especially newer stuff, that you can say that, okay, like when someone asked me when the Bear and Bola first came out, I was like, I don't know any of that shit. It's like asking a white belt to show me an armbar from guard, and I'm a black belt, and they're like, you know how Rafael Mendes is doing that? I'm like, I have fucking no clue. No one's ever showed me that, you know. So there's a certain level in me of that you have to go back and learn this shit and stuff like that. So sometimes when I put the other belt on, it means I'm still a student, and I did wear a white belt for a little while, wearing a blue belt, and there's a certain thing I'm learning right now that it's like I still to this day I've never taught certain guards in this school, because I won't do that until I'm mastered and proficient in it, you know. So and that's what I'm working towards, you know, and I need to get a little bit more motivated to get there and stuff like that, and sometimes throwing a different belt on helps me do that and stuff like that. So that's kind of the motivation for it. But also, like I said, you gotta as an instructor, it's different than just a student. Like I said, I have black belts who are very simple, and I've trained with other black belts who are very simple. Adolfo Vieira, Jesus Christ, you know what he's doing, and he doesn't do anything fancy, and he just fucking smash you and pass your guard, and you know exactly everything he's doing. He'll tell you, he's like, yeah, I keep it basic and simple, and I'm gonna kill you, you know. So so, but as you get more involved and stuff, you got to learn more guards and stuff like that, and be able to pass down knowledge if you're a teacher. So I think that's pretty important.
How do you approach that? Do you say, all right, so this is my intention? Like, let's say you're working on like worm guard, right? And I think you've been playing with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you sit there and you say, all right, I know this is like the gist of it, and I see what reactions people are giving me from when I just try it and I kind of play with it? Or do you sit there and you study like a Keenan and you watch like a ton of Keenan?
It's a combination of all of it. You study it, you practice it, you drill it, and you work it live. You grab a blue belt and work it live. Exactly. And until you become more proficient. So I don't think it's enough. Like, I know a lot. Like, I see this, and I can always tell when I see other, like, I always tell, especially my guys, I'm like, don't teach something you don't know. That you don't know. Like, don't do it. Just don't do it. Like, it'll come off. It'll come off bad and stuff like that. So I know a lot of sweeps from worm guard, but I don't like if I was you come ask me what's the 4 counters to the worm guard, I'm like, fuck, I know 3. So just because I don't know that 4th one, I'm not gonna actually teach it yet. So that's what I mean by that. Like, no, I get Noah in the worm guard and he steps over my leg sometime. What should be the next move to that? That's you know what I'm saying. So I have a good understanding of it. I can teach a lot of sweeps from it. I don't have a good. I got to get deeper into this before I can actually say, okay, that's what I mean by that. So that's what like you have to constantly be learning the intricacies of it. Like, that's so.
And I feel like this is kind of like what I'm starting to realize is, in order for me to get better at what I'm doing rolling, is kind of like what you're doing with the guards. Like, I need to figure out something where I understand the actions and the reactions that people are going to do. Kind of the system behind
that's what the thing is. It's the reactions. It's like,
just get okay. So that's going to be my A game for now. Because I'm okay at that guard, so I'm going to play that because I know they clear the leg. I do this. If they go that way, I do that sort of thing. And then as I get better, I can go repeat the process with another guard and another guard and another guard. But I mean, we all. It's very hard for people to say I don't know or I don't feel like. The restraint it takes for people to say like, no, I can't help you.
Yeah, and so to use those words, I don't know. I think you either have to be a brand new person, or you have to have been training for 23 years, 24 years like me. Because I like a lot of guys they can't use those words. They can't say like I don't know or this might be the best. Like you just it's that fucking Socrates. The more you know, the less you realize you don't know. Like it literally is that way. The more So that's kind of where it's at.
Well, what do they say? It's not. It's what you don't know that you don't know. That right. You know what I mean. Right. Not what you know that you don't know.
Right. So yeah, and I like I said, I have a good understanding of it, but no, as an instructor though, like I said, someone who teaches and has a lot of students now and a lot of different styles, a lot of different body frames, and I have to make sure that I'm not just teaching them what I do well. I do some shit really well, and I can't just teach people.
I feel as though you've always done that. You've always done a pretty good job of that.
Yeah,
and not teaching your style.
I've been conscious of that early on, because that's why I said I have guys that do shit better than me. Like when sometimes my students ask me how, like I'm like, fucking go ask this guy. He does it better than me. Actually, he has a better and I think that's cool. Like I showed him this, and now he has a better understanding of it than me. Like he actually has built more stuff on it than I have. Like he's actually better at than me at it. So I think I've been very conscious of that early on. Because I've realized that I've gone with guys and I've seen guys. I've been around a long time. I've seen guys teach, and they're like they just teach what they do well, and well, yeah, you're fucking 6'2", 220, and you're fucking super athletic. That's not gonna work for your guys, Like that's just I'm sorry, Like you gotta you gotta get a little deeper than that, So that's
At what point did you make the switch to say I need to? I guess it's kind of when did you make the switch to say I want to be an instructor and commit to that to the point where I'm going to do continual learning and make sure because if you're a fighter or you're a competitor, even if it's just jiu-jitsu,
yeah, well,
you can just be good at what you do.
Yeah, well, it's weird because I made the switch, not to that extent, but I made the switch so the moment I started coaching, their training was more important than mine, and that hurt me a little bit as a competitor for sure. I mean, there was times where I had fights coming up, and I'm cornering guys and coaching them, and I still had a fight coming up, or you ever go to a fight like the hugest fight of your life, or go to Japan, go fight in Pride with your students in your corner, and you know what I'm saying? Like that's where I was at in a lot of stuff, because I didn't have, like, at the time I was more worried about their training than mine. So early on, I always put their training before mine. I always make sure that with that and stuff. But in terms of identifying myself as a coach more, that was probably pretty early on, because I remember.
Yeah, I've always known you as like a coach, even.
Well, no, even when like I said, even when back in 2006 when Luigi was about to go to the UFC and I was fighting in Pride, and I remember still worrying about his shit more than mine. I was like, damn, I have the biggest fight of my life coming up, and I have to go to Japan for 2 weeks. And
that speaks volumes about you.
But then I would stay another week to help make sure he was training, and then I would and I would stay here and train more with him, and then fly to Japan, then fly straight from Japan to Vegas to make sure I was there, like shit like that, So I mean, but that's what like I said. That's why I tell guys, if you're fighting, like, that's why when I'm around a lot of fighters, and the second you start talking about opening up a school, I mean, you're done. Like, you're just like, if you want to go and like, if you want to, once you start stepping out of that, I'm not saying that's what I did. We were kind of forced into the situation a little bit. Where we were at, that we kind of had to branch out and open up our place and stuff. It's not something that we necessarily want to do, but you take on that responsibility. At least some guys do, but other coaches I know don't. I know some guys who coach they're the head coach of the school. Man, if they have a competition coming up, it could just be a grappling tournament, they're gone for fucking 8 weeks, like. they're like fuck you guys. I know you guys are paying me, but I'm out of here. I gotta go. I got a grappling tournament coming up. I'm gonna go fucking.
That's not necessarily what's best for business, though.
Well, no, it's not. Yeah. But at the same time, so. This might be best for their career, though. It might be best for their grappling career, yeah. But that's the case, and don't open up a school. Don't say you're their coach and teacher. If you're, So, but maybe it is. Or maybe the students are understanding, appreciative. I don't know. But that wasn't the way I could see it. It was like, when I had a fight and we opened up a school, I didn't go down to Coconut Creek and train. I didn't I went down to Coconut Creek and stayed there a lot of times when I was on American Top Team, and that was before we had a school open. That was when we left Marcy. It was with Gracie Raja, so I was down there when we didn't have a school. Second we opened a school, I was like, well, I have students, I have fights, I got guys I got it here, so I never went down after we opened up, and that's.
Isn't that one of those
shit? I still haven't been down. I still haven't been down.
In order to be like a fighter, you have to be kind of selfish.
And you do, have
because it is about you. Like, it's literally your livelihood.
You do.
Right?
It's your career. I agree with that. I have no problem with fighters being selfish. I got a problem with a coach being selfish, but I have no problem with a fighter. Like, dude, you have a small window to compete and win and train, and like you got to be selfish, man. You got to do what's best for you. Like, when guys, you have to. I have no problem with that, for sure. So.
I don't know. I'm just listening. I don't know.
No, this is fun, man. We finally got him on. It took a couple shots here and there, and a high alc. Oh, by the way,
a literal shot.
Yeah, correct. So today's official sponsor, Corona Seltzer.
There you go. I hope their facilities open up again.
I hope so too. So this is a little bit late, but I am mentioning them. Thank you, Nicole, for sponsoring this podcast. I think you sponsored John Rumsey's going away party also. So Corona,
and like, Troy loved it. Troy was a believer.
He was a believer. It's a solid seltzer. It doesn't taste like a soda, which is what really differentiates a seltzer from a soda. It's pretty low cal, but pretty high alc, I gotta say. So I'm dehydrated and fasted right now, and I may have had another beer before that, but
hopefully the camera footage wasn't wobbly then.
Nah, man, I got my jiu-jitsu legs all in there, like total steady cam. I was hitting all the good angles. It was great, I promise you.
That's awesome. So, Paul, since you've been, if my math's right, you've been a black belt longer than you were a colored belt, right? Or just about the same?
It's coming up on the same. So it's weird because I'm seeing this, and so the first generation guys, unless you're BJ Penn or Massera, who won the world championships, we had to wait a long time. Even the competitors. So it's kind of been like all the guys who started jiu-jitsu back in the mid-'90s had to wait 12 years. Now their first students guys had to wait 8 years, and now almost hobbyists are going to be having to wait 8 years pretty soon. So it's kind of shortening. It's shortening. But so I'm coming up on the same point where we both What year is it? Yeah,
2020.
Yeah, so I've been So it's been about equal time since I've been a black belt and stuff. So
what do you see like? I can kind of imagine, we've kind of talked about this a little bit to varying degrees, but how would you differentiate your typical, say, purple belt or blue belt here now in 2020 versus what those competitors were like when you were at those belt ranks?
Okay, so this may come off a small bit controversial. Maybe not. I don't fucking know.
Who gives a shit? It's your opinion, man.
So you're saying competitors. So the best competitors of today.
Competitors or
So hold on. Let me read it. I'm gonna answer both questions. The competitors of today would beat the competitors of 15, 20 years ago. They're just better. Like the best black belts today will beat the best black belts from years ago. Best blue belts today will beat the best blue belts from years ago. But on average, that's another question. That's where and this goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you walked into jiu-jitsu school in 2001, 2002, you didn't have any hobbyists in the school. You did not train jiu-jitsu in 2002 because you wanted some stress release from work. That just fucking wasn't the case. You did not train jiu-jitsu because you wanted to lose 10 pounds. There was a fucking, in that sense, it's weird because if you had a purple belt in 2002, you were just a tough motherfucker. Now you can get a purple belt in jiu-jitsu in 2020 and just be like, hey, I've trained 3-4 years and I've been consistent. I know my techniques. That wasn't the case back in the day. Back in the day, you had to be you wouldn't have been there. You just wouldn't have survived. That was just the nature of the martial art back then. It was just, I'm not saying it was good or bad. It definitely wasn't very smart, but it's just what it was. It was just like we're gonna throw you out there and you're gonna just take it. And so that's why classes, the whole school would have, it wasn't very big and shit like that. And so. As the martial art got bigger, like the training methodologies got better, so it's opened it up to more people. But there was no way. I look at some people today, and I'm like, man, you would have quit fucking 2 years ago if you trained back in then. And that's not good. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that's just the way it was, So if you were to take the average, like you pluck that purple belt and put them against the purple belts from then, I don't know. Now the best guys, obviously, they're better trained. They know more techniques. There's more to the art. Train smarter,
Is there any truth to the kind of the statement that from a technique point of view, the guys back then of that generation knew less, but what they knew they did better?
Yeah, that's definitely
because they just because there were less techniques, but they drilled those techniques just
absolutely, yeah. Like so as you train jiu-jitsu more, you'll find out is all the shit you learn early on. The fundamentals of everything is the most important stuff, and what I mean is the fundamentals is. It could be the fundamentals of the worm guard is going to be the best part of the worm guard, the fundamentals of the Barambola is going to be the best part of the Barambola. It's not going to be I wrap it around his neck 6 times and then go double invert. It's going to be the initial state. Absolutely. That's definitely true. Cause that's, and that's where like I said, I don't know who I was talking about this the other day, but even me, I think about this sometimes when I'm trying to do the curriculum. We live in a society now where it's like you have to keep people entertained, and if I was to stay on something too long, people would get bored.
How much do you, when developing a curriculum, keep the fighting aspect of jiu-jitsu in mind?
So I go back and forth on this. Sometimes I'm like, it should be a bigger part. Sometimes I'm like, well, it's like what the market wants. I don't know people. Yes, people want to feel safe and they want to feel confident, but not. A lot of people want to train jiu-jitsu because they feel like they're going to get mugged in their parking lot. There is people that think that, but that's not the biggest reason, They want so I get that, and it should be a part of it and stuff like that. And I go back and forth on this one. So, this is one of the things I'm most like, I definitely need to come to a conclusion on this, I don't think it should be like, the Gracies in California, they have their whole white belt, the blue belt is
a combative.
Is
self-defense.
Purely self-defense. It's purely like, okay, this guy's gonna headlock you, this guy's gonna punch you, this guy's gonna try to choke you in your guard. So we teach Jiu-Jitsu in our first year. We teach a lot of Jiu-Jitsu, not just self-defense in our in our curriculum. So clearly I still value it, but not as much as I used to though. So yeah, that's one thing I'm still trying to work on. And it's tricky because you have to, like, this is a martial art, but this is still a business. What do people want? If I say, hey, we're gonna work on self-defense stuff. I mean, are people gonna tune out, or they just want to grapple? They want their stress release and they want to roll and have fun and stuff like that, or they want to worry about
well, why does
the bully headlocking them in the playground, like are they actually worried about that? That's not why I'm here, asshole. I want to grapple, like.
Well, and we've had this talk because we've had this discussion many times,
probably too many times.
About what's the ratio of drilling to rolling and what overall throughout the week in a class, etc. But I've never said it this way. On the other extreme, what if you just did all open mats? I feel like no one would come either. And why do you think, if everyone likes to roll, because we kind of all have agreed that a significant
you really
number.
Think if it was all open mats, nobody would come?
I think it would dwindle.
Really?
I think so, but I'm asking. Like,
I think it's an attrition thing, right? Like, I think certain people would be here all the time if it was open mats all the time.
But I don't think it would be optimal.
No,
That's
absolutely not. Like, for learning, no, absolutely not.
No, not even for learning. From a business perspective, in terms of optimal, like, if you're saying I'm going to charge, and obviously you can't charge as much for just saying you have open mats all the time, but I don't think, me personally, I don't think that would be optimal. I think people do want to see a few cool things, and even if they, I don't know, I just, what do you think? That's kind of my question.
Yeah, I think if I was to have and we've discussed, schools used to do this, but if you have an hour and a half class and the first 45 minutes is technique and the second 45 minutes is grappling, and people can come in at the second part of the class, I think more people come in at the second part of class most of the time. I think a lot of people tune, especially at the higher levels. And here's why at the higher levels, because at the higher levels, people kind of develop their game. They don't, and I've seen this. I've seen this at purple belts, at brown belts. I've seen this at black belts. If we're teaching some spider guard stuff, I'm like, well, fuck, I don't use a spider guard. I'm kind of tuned out right now. I'm a half guard guy. It's cool. I'm watching it, but I don't really care to learn it. It's just it's cool to know if someone does it to me, but I'm not ever going to use this. I've seen this even at high levels. Guys are just it's not part of my game. So that's where it gets a little tricky. I think at the lower levels they need to always do technique and stuff like that. At the higher levels, when and it just depends on what the guy is there for, what his goals are. If the guy only makes it in twice a week, what do you think he wants to do?
Oh, we've talked about this. He wants, yeah.
You want
bang, bro.
So that's exactly right. If a guy can, hey, I can make it on Tuesday and Thursdays and every other Saturday. What do you think I want to do in those 3 hours I get a week? I want to roll. I don't really care about learning another triangle escape. I know 3 of them. Those work good for me. Let's roll. So that's it gets
but
tricky.
Most of the people that come in the door aren't at that level where they know 3 triangle escapes. That's the thing.
Well,
that makes more sense if
that's
you're
what,
brown.
That's why I said that's why beginners should grapple a lot less. No, I agree. Beginners should grapple a lot less. Like advanced guys, like I said, if you make it to purple and brown, maybe you kind of know already, whether you want to learn or whether you don't, whether your lifestyle will let you, you kind of okay, I'm a purple belt and I'm getting fucking smashed. Maybe I should learn more, but I'm a little stubborn. I want to, so that's it, Well,
that to me is the rational thing. That's always been my counter argument to me is I feel like unless we're going to just say that people are irrational, which I'm not opposed to. I'm not saying that's not a possibility. Okay, but let's give people the benefit of the doubt and say they're rational. The only way you're going to get better in terms of the way you perform in a role is if you acquire a new technique and practice them. You will get tougher and you will get better at what you do.
And there's different parts of this is where I gotta get a little better out of, and maybe getting people to buy in. But there's different sections too. There's when I hear technique, I'm like, or drilling. Is drilling like drilling what you already know? Because drilling is different than learning. Like learning a new skill is not drilling. There's drilling, there's live action drilling, there's learning new skill, and then there's sparring. Like those are all different segments of training and stuff like that. So
which is the part you feel that the average student wants to not do?
Learning.
So you're saying they want to drill, but they don't
I think they
learn.
would be more like, okay, if I tell guys, hey, I want you. So if I'm teaching guys a new spider guard pass, they may feel it, they may not. If I say, guys, we're gonna drill spider guard passes, do what you do best, they're gonna drill the ones they like to do. Like they're gonna be like, okay, when the guy goes here, this works for my frame, this works for my size. Like Jamie's spider guard pass can be different than Xander's. Like Xander gets away with more. Like Jamie's 130 pounds. So. But if I'm showing this, so I think more people like I like that type of drilling better. Like, I'd rather drill butterfly guard passes and if we're drilling, like I said, I want to drill what I do. Turn a timer on, let's drill.
At what point do you feel though that people, because like you said, you know what you're good at, right? Like that takes a certain amount of self-awareness.
Yeah.
And where do you think of a student kind of develops that certain level of awareness to be able to know what they're good at and what they're not good at?
I mean, hopefully it's ideally, it's just going to sound weird, but not till later on, because if they think they know what a blue belt, they're fucking morons, hopefully they learn it closer to brown belt, hopefully well, I'm a blue belt. They don't have this fucking thing in their head where they know what they do good at blue belt, because you don't know shit at blue belt, So hopefully it's not till later, stuff like that, But there's things that there's movements that I don't necessarily like to do in some positions, And can I get better? I'm sure, but there's, I don't know, you got a limited amount of time, limited amount of things. I believe in the 80-20 rule, so it's so that's what I mean by that. So I think all students will value learning. Don't get me wrong. I just think if you put, okay, guys, we're gonna spar, drill, or learn in order, at certain levels, guys would rather spar first, especially if they don't get to train that much because they want to get that mat time in. Then they're gonna fucking want to drill, where they can just do what they like to do because they want to, and then lastly, okay, what do you have to show me? What are you going to show me? What works for you, I can add to it. Now that's at a higher level. Like I said, blue belts, you should be absorbing everything still.
Should be.
Yes.
But that's also
if you're a cocky blue belt, fuck off. Maybe even purple belt. If you're a cocky purple belt, get the fuck out of here.
Cocky brown belt. I mean, if you're
ideally at brown, if you got a brown belt, hopefully you have a pretty good understanding of jiu-jitsu and you understand what's
So what is your definition now of all the different belt levels? People always, it's everybody's got their sort of what a white belt is.
We don't be.
Oh, are we?
No.
What is the takeaway for a white belt? What should the focus be for a white belt?
Fundamentals. I mean, it should be. Not. I don't mean necessarily submissions, but it should be balance, grips, understanding what you want to do. That's the biggest thing. I work with some people privately, and I'm like, what position are you in? What are you trying to do right now? Where should your weight be right now? This is the biggest thing. With some of the white belts, okay, you open my guard. I went to a knee shield. Where are you putting your weight? Not there, because you just got fucking swept because you were. That's that. I think that should be the first thing, is understanding that.
A certain level of awareness.
Yeah, understanding what you're trying to do. Early on, I granted so especially in the first few months, okay, I guard's not good. Guard, I don't want to be wrapped. This and stuff like that. So, and then as you go closer to blue belt, then a deeper awareness of what's going on and stuff like that. So, and how to apply stuff like that. So I think that's, with the other ones, it just depends, but I definitely think with white belts, I think sometimes it's too much emphasis on submissions. And I get it, jiu-jitsu, when you first train, it's new, it's fun, that's what we're doing here, we're here to, you're actually literally trying to tap people out. So I get that's what you're trying to do. You're not trying to keep your posture in the guard. You're not trying to keep base and break the guy's posture in the guards. You know, you want to arm lock him, so you throw up this dumb arm lock and he passes your guard and it smashes you. Like, so I get that's what we're trying to do. You know, so but and you the only thing, and it's you know, there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is train more and let that happen. And then you realize, okay, maybe I need to learn better, this better. You know, see, no matter how many times you tell somebody that's important, you're not going to do it. So,
what how did you guys back in the day go about finding like new knowledge? Because like nowadays, I mean, even I'll notice it. Someone will come in and they'll do a technique that I know 100% they saw on Instagram or they saw on YouTube. Like, it's like, you know, you're a white belt and we haven't taught this and nobody does, you know. Or it's like when when someone starts using lockdown in fundamentals class, and then suddenly there's like an epidemic. We have the lockdown epidemic where everyone puts people in lockdown because like, oh my God, this works.
So, I mean, if you're talking about the first like 3 or 4 years, if you're talking about, early on, we'd go to seminars. That was the early on. And then we actually cross-trained with some guys in Miami. So if they knew some stuff that, if they cross-trained with some guys, then we would train with them and stuff. That was kind of early on. There was no internet. There was no, you know, it wasn't until about 2000, 2001 you could start buying like VHS tapes and shit like that. Which were sporadic, but you would learn a lot of new stuff from them and stuff like that. But prior to that, it was basically you had to literally go to seminars. So you had to drive. You had to like just, you know, to learn techniques and stuff like that. So, and then we trained with a guy in Miami. His name was Mike Cardosa. He's still around. He still has a school in Miami. He used to train with the FFA guys and stuff. He has his own school now, but I saw him at the UFC. He's a ref. You know, he's a, you know, fucking super knowledgeable dude, one of the best guys I've ever trained with and stuff in terms of knowledge and stuff like that. Went to Abu Dhabi and stuff like that. But he would train with a lot of guys and we'd meet with him and we would exchange techniques and stuff like that. But that's kind of it, you know, in terms of early on and stuff. And then when we moved to Orlando, that's when we, you know, it opened up a little bit more. It got a little more popular. You know, people started making tapes, and then we actually eventually started at Marcio's and stuff. But then when I noticed, like, even when we started there, like, I mean, a lot of the new stuff I was learning there, I was like, wow, this is great. And then Dean brought the Marcio Featosa tapes home one day, and it was basically those whole tapes. So it was like, so they were actually getting them from Featosa too. So they actually got them, you know, the same tapes and shit, you know. So
were people like more possessive of knowledge? Was there like trade secrets back then? Because nowadays it's like it's hard for anybody to do a technique. Like you can do a technique in a tournament, and nowadays it's going to be recorded and everyone can see it. Whereas back then it's like if someone was good at something, the only time you might have seen it is when that person competed.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. I think up until later on, people were just trying to make money and sell as much, like, you know. But I think early on, I think there was some truth to that. They would make tapes, but they didn't want to show like trade secrets and shit.
Yeah.
You know, like I think there was some truth to that, you know, for sure. You know, like they didn't want outside people learning new stuff that they might use or do. You know, there's some definitely truth to that, you know. And then probably around when Marcelo Garcia started, I think that's when it just kind of opened up to the floodgates, you know. And that was like 2004, 2005 when he released the X Guard stuff, because that was new to everybody too. No one had seen X Guard till March, you know. And I'm sure it was around, but until he actually, this guy who no one ever heard of, beat everybody in Abu Dhabi, and a year later he put out the X Guard videos and stuff, and that's shit that's taught to blue belts now. Like, you know, before that was like only one guy in the world was doing it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like every blue belt in America knows the X Guard, you know, whereas 10 years ago it was like, fuck, you know, like that was fancy, you know. So
and that's, so do you feel now the sort of like open source learning has benefited jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think, you know, the more learning, and like I said, I fell for this too a little bit. Sometimes people equate new with more advanced, and that's not necessarily true. So the X Guard is not, it's tricky to get into, but it's really easy to finish once you get into it. So, but a good example is like I tell people it's easier to learn a butterfly guard sweep if you take a guy off the street, it's easier to teach him how to do a butterfly guard sweep than a scissor sweep. they will butcher the scissor sweep over and over and over again because they don't know where to put the knee, they don't stretch, they don't lift up, they don't grab the collar right, they don't hold the sleeve right. It's easier to teach someone to, hey, this is the proper butterfly guard, now just fall on your shoulder and sweep the guy over. But we equate the butterfly guard with being more advanced because it's open, but it's actually easier to do if you're in both positions. Put a guy in closed guard. So I felt for this too. I would equate with like, oh, it's I didn't know this till I was a purple belt, so you guys can't know, but that's not necessarily true. Like the Berimbolo, if you know how to go inverted, it's actually pretty easy. Actually, like it's just because it came newer, like just to go inverted and just to take the back. It was like if you can just put your feet over your head, you can get to it. It's not. There's way more advanced De La Riva sweeps than the Berimbolo. Like the Berimbolo is literally can you go inverted? Because if you can take the back, grab his belt, put him on his hip, and go inverted. Done. Some of the sit-up sweeps from De La Riva, super advanced. You got to stretch him out. You got to sit up. You got to pass his arm through his leg, rotate your hand to the collar, push him, come down, come up, and finish. Like that's advanced. But that was in jiu-jitsu when I started. But so we equate that with being old school, but we equate the Berimbolo with being like more advanced, but it's not. So sometimes you got to understand like what's. So in my opinion, the spider guard sweep is easier to learn for beginners than the pendulum sweep. You ever watch a beginner do a pendulum sweep? That's been jiu-jitsu forever, but that is like the most butchered thing I've ever seen. They can't open their hips, they can't swing, they can't. They're
angling them in the
they're
wrong
angling.
direction.
It's just horrible. Like, but because it's a fundamental, because it's always been there. But it's always been there because that's all we knew. But there's like so we have to be careful on what we consider like newer is not necessarily more advanced.
So that's an interesting thing because Ryan Martman and I get into arguments about, or excuse me, Ryan LaFrance get into arguments about this all the time at work. When it was a little free time, he's helped me pull an order or whatever the case is. I have my idea of what a fundamental is, and he thinks that's all just completely nonsense.
Right.
What is your definition of a fundamental?
So you mean like
Fundamental what? Technique?
Fundamental technique, fundamental. Because I tend to play concepts like a fundamental concept of like what makes a sweep work, what makes a submission. A sweep work is a really easy one. Submissions, there's so many different submissions.
Right.
And his mindset is like fundamentals are sort of like nonsense, and like that's fundamentals are there just because of like dogma, and dogma gets passed on.
Right.
So like.
And there might be some truth to that, but don't get me wrong. Like to me, like that's going back to what I was saying earlier about like what white belts should know. Like I don't think a white belt should necessarily know like it shouldn't be this submission, but they should know like what they're trying to do. They should know balance. They should know grips. They should know what this guy's trying to do to me. They should know. That's what I mean more by that. Like in terms of like necessarily technique, and that's what I mean by like what I was just saying. Like some things, and I fell into this trap. That's why where I was like when I was starting to redo my curriculum, I'm like, man, that's why I had the butterfly guard sweep in as in a white belt curriculum, because it was like, man, that's easier to do than pendulum sweep. The pendulum sweep's fucking harder to do. Like I know this, and I know this from teaching for 13 years. Like watching white belts try to do it, you suck at it. It's just it's not an easy movement for you. So there's certain movements that are, but because the closed guard is a better position for them to be in, because it's actually a butterfly guard, they're more likely to get their guard passed than a closed guard because they still have to open the guard. So that's why we acute it with the fundamentals. So there's so many variables there and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm sympathetic to what Ryan's saying there in terms of like dogma, but at the same time, I'm more I break it down to more basics and stuff like that than even techniques. It's just more, if you're in the guard, I don't even care how you're open right now. Like, where should you be? Where should your weight distribution be? Where should your hands be? Where should your head be? Where should your chin be? Stuff like that. So I think that'd be a little bit more important than.
Is it? And just working with you for over a decade now at this point, is it so much because I always go back to this lesson because it's literally the first lesson that you taught to me when I was a white belt when you first started teaching fundamentals at Marcio's. I think it was after you got your brown belt, and you said something along the lines of there are many correct ways of doing things, but there are certainly wrong ways of doing things.
Right.
And as long as that's not it. That's not the bottle opener. I see it. It's the little pry. as long as he's like, and I remember I say he, but you're sitting right in front of me. And you said, as long as you're not doing it one of the wrong ways, you got it. You got the technique. So do you feel as though it's more important to not do it one of the wrong ways than it is to do it one of the right ways?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's certain, methods are many, principles are yeah. So absolutely. Like I said, it's funny because I do study some things, but when I go back and look at when I'm on YouTube, when I do find my time on YouTube, I'm not looking at like all the new shit or the fancy shit. I'm looking at how other instructors teach basic shit. How is the instructor teaching to open the guard in the fundamentals class? And I literally, you can watch Henzo teach something different than Keenan, and they're completely different techniques. Like some people like straight arm in the closed guard, some people like bent arm in the closed guard. Now that's completely different. Yes,
on a fundamental level,
those are completely different, stuff like that. But where their weight distribution is, where their hands are, what they're gripping, where they're those things are the same and stuff like that. So yeah, I do think there's definitely some truth to that. In terms of doing it wrong and stuff like that. If you're in the wrong position, you'll learn, and you'll learn fast why he was in the wrong position and stuff like that. Whereas if you're not doing it right necessarily, you might not have success with it. But if you're doing it wrong, you'll know right away because you're gonna get swept or you're gonna get submitted, stuff like that. So.
I don't know. I'm like reminiscing about the first lesson you taught us, which was position 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which
they called position 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, he called them position 1, 2, 3, and 4 back then. It's funny because like when I teach it now, I teach it the way you taught it then, which it's actually changed since then.
A little bit, yeah.
So like my hand placement, if I teach position 1, 2, 3, and 4, is different than what Paul teaches now.
Oh, look at you!
It's not better or worse; it's just different, right? So
that's interesting. That's something you just came up with because I've never seen anyone else. I mean, I see Kisakatami, reverse Kisakatami, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just thought it was easier to
just say 1, 2, 3
to put no. Yeah, because everyone has these weird names, and and I do agree that at a certain point everything needs to be like that. Like I don't know if it was Danaher or somebody. Maybe it was Danaher talking about like you have to have your own vernacular, your own vocabulary first. Yeah, you have to develop that.
That's how information is properly.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, and I agree with that. So and ironically, the stuff that I've done here internally, actually, people know better than the stuff that I haven't done. That's what I'm saying. So until we come up with names and stuff like that, and you start, I don't know if codifying is the right word, but what I'm saying, you can pass down the knowledge easier and stuff like that. But that's why 13 years later, you can still say, I remember positions 1, 2, 3.
Literally 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And everyone since then can know it too,
But then again, like it's also the onus of the student to like to take what they've learned and like develop also, right? Like you taught me those techniques, right? But like, and I know you hate this, but I'll reference SBG. Like he hates it so much that I reference SBG. But like. The reason why positions 1, 2, 3, and 4 work is because, like, how do you block out a regard, right? It's using your hand, your hip, or your knee. And if you look at fundamentally position 1, 2, 3, and 4, what are you using? Your hand, your hip, or your knee to block out the regard, right? So, like, that's the it's you systemize that first.
Well, and the thing I've noticed is that not that I've certainly haven't been to too many other. I've only been to a jiu-jitsu camp and dropped into another gym, so I don't have too much experience outside of this gym. But even when I look at videos and stuff, how Paul has structured side control with 1, 2, 3, and 4 is a lot farther along than what I see. People just talk about side control, and the thing is when I see like a side control escape, a lot of what their escapes are, and they probably do know it, but it's an escape from from one of the positions where the person on top does not adjust at all to account for that. Whereas what you're teaching is kind of an escape system from bottom.
It's like heuristics.
Exactly.
Right?
If you're in this position, you start your escape. If they don't counter you, you're out. If they counter you, they're going to end up in position 1. Right. Now you're going to end up framing here, and it becomes kind of a system of transitions. And I'm starting to wonder now, like, well, shit, we need names for like different hand placements. Like, am I going to be cross facing the guy in side control?
Everything.
Am I actually on the other side covering his head? And
that's why I've been watching wrestling videos to see how they like how detailed they. And I've never wrestled in my life in like a formal wrestling thing, so I don't know like
full Nelson, half Nelson.
Yeah, crazy. Like, yeah, but where like, you know, there's got to be intricacies to that martial to what they do, you know, in terms of how they label things and name things, and
it's like where the oldest sport, so
where they place their arms and stuff like that, you know. So it's got to be like, you know, they can't just be, you know, yelling body parts and shit, you know, like
exactly,
you know. So it's, you know,
but it's definitely gone a long way to at least these are 4 major body orientations people can be in side control.
Yeah, and I think that's initially why it was like, you know, just to block their escapes in these 4 positions, you know. And in north-south would be 5. You know, we never really did that one, but that would be, you know, the 5th one and shit. So,
how much have you? So like, there's the idea of like pure jiu-jitsu. There's the idea of like pure wrestling, right? Like, how have you, in your 30 years of training now, integrated like principles of one to the other? That's a super broad question, but
yeah. So you mean like pure jiu-jitsu? Like, you mean like
when I think of pure jiu-jitsu, I
mean
think
like
of
Hoist
like
Gracie
IBJJF, Hoist Gracie, pure jiu-jitsu for fighting, you know, and like obviously like that got nullified at some point, you know, by way of like Shamrock and Severin and that sort of thing. Like,
right.
How much have you like, hey, I saw this happen to them, so I need to work on this to be, and sort of like open up the possibilities from there.
I don't know. Like, so when you say pure, so because there's 2 different things there. Like, you know, like Hoist is definitely different than IBJJF, you know.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, like
Is it about like sport jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu with strikes?
Jiu-jitsu, like the essence of jiu-jitsu, because I think I've heard you say before, like jiu-jitsu is the ultimate martial art when it comes to pure self-defense.
I agree with that. So other than so if you're just talking about like hand-to-hand combat with another person with just your hands, you know, and this is coming from a guy who's done Muay Thai just as long and guy who's done MMA just as long. If you're just fighting a guy and there's no time limits and no ref and no K, the only thing you need to know is jiu-jitsu. Whoever's better at jiu-jitsu is gonna win. It's just that, like.
Why wouldn't you just say MMA? I feel like MMA is like, I feel like jiu-jitsu is a subset of MMA. Jiu-jitsu is like a subset.
So no, when I say MMA, I think so I don't think this, but if the way I'm using it right now is MMA used to mean different martial arts fighting each other.
Okay. Yeah, it's different now.
It's different now. Now everyone does jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, or some like. But historically, that's why it's just funny because like when I that shit. Yeah, I posted a picture with Dean the other day, and it's talking about, you know, we started watching because of the UFC, you know, and that's how we got into jiu-jitsu. But people don't understand those first 5 UFCs over the span of how many years was it? I don't know. It started in 93.
93, yeah. That's
yeah, and it went to
27 years now.
96. But like when we started training 96, 97, it was 5 or 6 UFCs, and there was one jiu-jitsu guy in that whole 6 years that did. There was only one jiu-jitsu guy, so people don't.
A weak one too.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like we're watching 30 jiu-jitsu guys fight. We literally watched one jiu-jitsu guy like beat everybody.
Well, what wasn't kind of part of that was to say which is the best martial art. Like we're gonna put a karate guy against the sumo guy,
and that's really what it was. You know, like if you if you didn't train jiu-jitsu, like even if you trained a little bit jiu-jitsu and the other guy knew more jiu-jitsu, if there was no time limits, you had to go beat them. You had to go like so. I honestly I agree this, and I've had this debate with other people, and I've like, you know, either other things that you know, respect the guys who I respect their opinions and stuff, but I don't think that that's all you need to know. You know, like it's not all you should know. Like you know, should know how to shoot a gun. You should know how to fight. You should know how to throw a punch. Like everyone should. You should be in condition. But like honestly, like if you know jiu-jitsu, if you know now, if you're gonna bring up some hypotheticals, or you're gonna have to fight 10 guys and shit, I don't care what.
Yeah,
you do.
parkour is your best.
Yeah,
martial
like,
art. If that's the
go
case.
go fucking run track. You just be fast as you can and run away, because that's the only thing that's gonna save you. You're fighting multiple guys. Like I don't care what you know, stuff like that. But if you're talking, like I said, if someone doesn't know jiu-jitsu, and he could be the best whatever in the world.
Okay, so that's an interesting point. At this point, because of the evolution of martial arts, because I would say the UFC is a huge singularity in terms of like the change of perspective of what martial arts
absolutely.
is.
Yeah.
I think at that point too, jiu-jitsu has changed also, right? And like, what is your pure definition of jiu-jitsu? What differentiates jiu-jitsu from any other martial art?
I think the ability to finish, but so like, and I want to clarify this, like the people who fight for a living and make money, like they're the ones who are proving what works, and I sincerely mean this, if you have some secret techniques, like anything that's comes from another martial art, or even the sport jiu-jitsu techniques, like if they were that practical, people would use them. People are making millions of dollars to fight. Like you can make a lot of money fighting if you have some secret technique, some secret sport technique, whether it be, hey, I'm just gonna pull guard and go berimbolo and take your back. If that was so effective, then somebody would be doing it in the UFC right now. If that was effective, like so it's the same with any other like martial art technique, so that's why I'm like saying like, so like I don't care what it is. I train some guys still, I haven't totally pulled out of the fighting thing, but if there was an Aikido technique that worked and would finish a fight, I don't give a fuck what it was. I would employ it, and if I was like, yeah, you wrist lock that guy, like do this, do that, so. So in terms of pure jiu-jitsu, I just meant pure jiu-jitsu to me is closing the distance, getting a dominant position, and finishing with
that's what I was looking for.
That to me, that's pure jiu-jitsu. Like to me, that's pure jiu-jitsu. Like that's what it is and stuff like that. So that's what I mean by that and stuff like that.
And everything else in between is just minutia.
Yeah, like for the yes, I agree with that. Yes. So, if like I even when I'm teaching, I did a private this morning, I'm talking to someone, I'm like, if you get in a fight, you don't do this, you do this, you do this. You get to this position, you close the distance, you're a mount, you stay tight, you make them turn over, and you choke. You don't do this, you don't do this. This is what we do in class for sport jiu-jitsu. This is for fun, this is for exercise, this is for recreation. This is not for, you need to understand the differences and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what I mean by I think pure jiu-jitsu stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're been a black belt, I think I can go out and I can go to Wall right now and get in a street fight. I'm pretty sure I can berimbolo somebody. If I wanted to have fun, I'm pretty sure I can close the distance, pull guard, and if I wanted to throw a De La Riva hook in while he's trying to hit me, I could probably berimbolo him. It would look cool. I'd get 1 million views. Everyone would share it. Like, look how jiu-jitsu looks. But that's like seriously.
Challenge accepted.
But that's just because I've been training for a long time, and I got my black belt 13 years ago. But it doesn't mean necessarily but I also come to pro sparring, I go with blue belts like Bubba, and fuck Jesus Christ, the guy I can't get the guy off me, so so I gotta defend the whole time, so it's just it is what it is,
So I know you teach kids now too. You use the knot. You enjoy it a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing. I enjoy anyone who likes to learn jiu-jitsu. I like to teach it. That's so if a kid generally wants to train jiu-jitsu, wants to be here, like you see, then I have no problem teaching. It's just when I will never go into the thing where it's I want him to learn to behave and he doesn't want to be here. That's not fun for anybody, So and I probably will never fall in that role because I will never need to do that. But yeah, no, I actually, like I said, if someone we have awesome kids here and they actually want to learn jiu-jitsu and stuff here. They're not here just to, so.
But you're also of the opinion, like I've heard you say quite strongly, and if I'm wrong, correct me, but it's that you think all kids should learn jiu-jitsu.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. More so than adults, because kids are more likely to get bullied than adults, Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't like, Jesus Christ. I know Johnny doesn't want to do jiu-jitsu, but who gives a shit, Make him do it, Like, But he also doesn't want to do his homework. He wants to play.
Contrary approach to teaching martial arts than, I mean, me coming from a traditional martial arts background where it's sort of like militaristic, ultra focus on discipline and blah, blah, blah. And I think that's what draws, your average soccer mom to like a karate class.
Right.
I mean, like, just the fact that I remember you saying this probably about 2 years ago at a kids promotion, saying, I can save the militaristic, making you drill and making you better at jiu-jitsu when you're 16, when you're a blue belt. But right now, my job is to make you love jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And that's an awesome approach as an instructor that, like, to recognize that in a student and to believe so much in your art that you model it to your students to find a way to make them love what you love.
Yeah. So no, I think like early on too, like and I'm speaking just with like kids and parents here, but when the parents come in, the first thing they want is like, they kind of want that militaristic. They want discipline, self-defense, stuff like that. And I get that for sure. But I'm like, your child doesn't know us. We want them to have fun. We want them to fall in love with jiu-jitsu. And as they get to know us, then we will gradually get harder and harder and harder on them. And it's still all the other stuff like that. No matter what, they're going to learn to defend themselves. No matter what, they're going to learn to defend themselves. That's like, to me, especially for kids. Like, we talked about this earlier about the self-defense thing and what's a white belt and what's this belt and what's this belt. To me, if kids learn jiu-jitsu, he should be learning self-defense. Like, we do not teach kids how to pass the guard. We teach kids how to get out of. We teach kids how to defend themselves. Like, that's first and foremost and stuff. And then we try to do it in a fun way early on. And then as we get to know them, and some of these kids we've known for a lot of years, we've watched them grow up in front of us and stuff. And then we actually start, and then we can actually start being a little bit more of the stuff that the parents want after a little while, but we definitely don't scare them off early on. We want them to enjoy the process. We want them to have fun with jiu-jitsu. And jiu-jitsu is fun. Like it's
absolutely, it's fun.
It's
I
fun.
wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't fun.
Jesus Christ, if I was a kid, I'd like, all day kids are being told like, keep your hands to yourself, don't grab him. Don't. So when we get in here, we're like, yeah, jump on his back and choke his ass. Like that's like literally, like, it should be fun, and stuff like that. So early on, when we get a new kid in here, we want them to have fun with it. We want them to develop some fundamental skills, and then we gradually move on to, okay, this is etiquette, this is more, and then we get on more. But we don't want to like scare them off and be too militaristic right off the bat and stuff like that. So it doesn't benefit us, and it definitely doesn't benefit the child either and stuff like that. So.
Have you had conversations with kids that have had an experience that jiu-jitsu has helped them, or an experience that not necessarily made them, but was part of the reason for getting in there? Like, have they talked about like being bullied?
For
lack of a better term, like have you like talked to kids that are like, I was bullied, or they feel better now, like, or do they just go about their lives and not really know much different?
No, I think we put such an emphasis on it. We've had some stories here where they just like, because that's like literally like when we teach. When someone's in our guard here, we don't teach them to grab a lapel. We're like, someone's going to be grabbing your neck and someone's going to be grabbing your head. So we emphasize this a lot. Like when someone grabs your head, or someone tries to punch you, or someone tries to kick you, it's totally different than our adult programs and stuff. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Like, what direction do I go with? When you ask me what's self-defense part of it, like, with kids, it's a no-brainer. Kids need to learn self-defense when they come in here. That's literally that's what we teach them right off the bat. Like, and if you watch two kids grapple, you'll see them in two headlocks in about 10 seconds if they don't know. So that's literally what happens to them on the playground, stuff like that. So we emphasize that early and often and stuff like that. So, but yes, we do have scenarios like that where kids are definitely more confident in terms of like staying up to bullies and stuff like that, and we definitely don't allow them to be bullies for sure. We've had actually one mom bringing a kid in who was he's a little rough. He was a little.
So the opposite side of the
opposite side, yeah.
He was the bully,
he's a little too much of a bully.
Yeah.
So her mom brought him in here, and then he learned that he wasn't very good at being a bully because he got mopped up. He was 10-year-old boy, and he was getting mopped up by 8, 9-year-old little girls, and getting choked out, and it kind of calmed him down a little bit, and then he learned the right and wrong ways of things to do things and stuff like that. So it can go both ways for sure, but the biggest thing is that the kid is, and I think that's why all parents, like I'm all for the character development, I'm all for the better grades and more concentration, but man, what's more important, your kid's safety, and not being bullied. So
why do you think that? Because I agree with what you just said, where it's like, if we could wave a magic wand and teach everybody jiu-jitsu in the world, not just kids, but just everybody, I feel like violence would go down.
Yeah, everyone calm
Why?
down.
Is that because people would be not stressed because they do jiu-jitsu, they'd have an outlet? Is it because they actually know the ramifications?
Like I said, I've like, even more so, I've like teenagers and hotheads that have come in here, and it's just calmed them down a tremendous amount, like they've come in and they're just like, and after grappling and training and sparring and stuff, like when they get out of here, someone looks at them wrong, they don't give a shit no more, they know, they train, so it definitely calms everybody down for sure. And we're talking about guys who just like, tough upbringings and stuff, and stuff like that. And the last thing, I don't need to do anything to this guy, I know what I can do, like I know he's an idiot, and I know I can take him down, choke him out in 2 minutes, so I've seen how many people it calms down and stuff like that, in terms of, and I don't mean like kids, I just mean like more like young, like teenagers and 18, 19-year-old kids, like stuff like that, chip on their shoulder kind of, and they start training jiu-jitsu, and now all of a sudden they're,
kind of like Chris here. Chris is a
yeah, it's such a chip on my shoulder. A hothead to the max.
But like I won't say I definitely wasn't like that, but I knew guys that like I said, I was close with that trained, and definitely changed them around,
So what has drawn you? Because I people who don't know Paul, you played college baseball, right?
What drew me to MMA?
What drew you to MMA versus pursuing another sport?
I don't know. I don't know. It was cool to me. Like when I was introduced to me, I saw this little skinny Brazilian guy.
So hang on. 1993, watching Hoist Gracie beat the shit out of.
So I didn't see MMA till '96.
Really?
So I didn't watch UFC. I saw UFC 1 on a VHS tape 3 years
from like 16,000 movies or something.
From like 3 years later. So I watched. I think because I didn't watch any of the pay-per-views until like.
Oh wow! So you were, what? Really?
So I didn't. So it wasn't until '96 that I started watching. So all the ones, the 1, 2, and 3, I saw on VHS that were already filmed.
Oh wow!
So I didn't watch them till '96.
From the bottom shelf at Blockbuster Video.
Yes. That's exactly like that's we. So Dean brought our VHS tape. So after that, then we actually started watching them on. That's when we started watching. We started watching pay-per-view, and then we even went to one like at Louisiana. We went to a few of them.
Did you really?
Yeah, we went to like
you and Dean as fans.
Yeah, we went to like UFC 12 or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like UFC, like we went to a few UFCs and shit. So we went to a few of them. That like we drove to like the Indian reservations and shit, like the casinos and shit. So no, but kind
of unlike what we're trying to do right now. What Dana's trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, full circle. Look at that.
Yeah.
Like,
so no,
tribal lands.
But yeah, no. So yeah, I didn't even like '93. I didn't even know about the UFC. Like I saw the first 3 on VHS. He brought tapes over. I don't think he even saw them. He started watching them a few months before I did, and he's like, "Hey, check this out." So then we started watching them and stuff like that. And then
you and Dean were just two knuckleheads in high school together before UFC. You trained together.
And honestly, I wasn't like I knew Dean and we were close, but he cut my hair, but he didn't play sports in high school. So like I played football and baseball in high school and stuff like that, and so I like I said, it was
football the only like the closest thing to like a contact sport? Well, obviously it's a contact sport, but it's like you said you didn't wrestle. Like, did you do any sort of combat sports growing up?
No, I didn't do anything. I just played baseball and football.
Which is weird because anybody that walks in now, and I mean, obviously it's been your career for 20 plus years, but it's like people don't see anything else but like this guy's fought. Like, right. You'll be in a fucking in the sauna and the guy will look at your ears like, hey, you ever fight?
Yeah. That's where I wrestled. Yeah, so no. Like I said, I just played football and baseball, and then like my freshman and sophomore years, I played basketball. but it cut into baseball season, so I quit that. I just so no, but I never did anything else. And then after,
which is odd because usually it's like it's
always some sort of like a wrestler or a traditional martial artist that gets into MMA.
Yeah, well, it was
you got an MMA.
What was crazy
as
is
an
when Dean showed it to me, it was like he never did anything. Like he just like I said he never
cut hair.
No, he never. Yeah, he didn't play any sports in high school and stuff like that. He was just he was into music.
Serious? He didn't do any sports in high school?
No, he was into music and like he was into art and shit and like that and stuff. And then one day he's like brought these VHS over. Like,
that's badass.
We started watching UFC and shit, and then, so I mean he should have played. He probably should have done.
So obviously you were a lot more passionate about martial arts than like a team sport like baseball, football, basketball.
Not necessarily, but it was new. Like I'm not saying this in a bad way, but every 20 years you start getting into something new, so I was like someone asked me like if I could only I don't know if I should say this. Someone asked me if I could only climb mountains or do jiu-jitsu, which one would I pick? And I'm like, fuck, I don't know. Because I've been doing jiu-jitsu for like 23 years, so I'm like, damn, mountain climbing is a lot newer to me,
Yeah, exactly.
I have some big goals I want to do in that thing,
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I played baseball since I was 5 years old, so it's just like I played football for years and shit, but no, jiu-jitsu I'm gonna do forever. I wouldn't pick anything over jiu-jitsu for seriously, but no, it was new, it was exciting, and I thought it was like I said, literally when I started, I thought it was cooler than what the kids now see, like if you see the UFC now, it's cool, but when I saw it, this dude wore a gi in the ring. He was fighting 300-pound guys. Now I don't care. Fuck, that shit was cool, man. Like that shit was cool. Like I don't care what. Like yeah, it's cool watching these guys fight in Reeboks and it's a sport. But dude, this little skinny Brazilian dude was like, he was fighting.
Dude, when he beat Chemo,
dude, he was fighting guy. He went out in his gi and just like he was like so much smarter, but he was like choking him out. That shit was cool to fucking I can't tell you how cool that was. Like. And that's why I was like, man, we gotta learn jiu-jitsu, and that's when we and I think when we started training, it wasn't necessarily to compete, it was just like we wanted to learn it,
It was just dicking around with each other.
Yeah, well, it was like we wanted to learn jiu-jitsu. It was like that's cool,
When did it register with you guys that oh shit, this actually works? Because it's definitely like it feels like a superpower when you.
Well, no, I think watching him registered with us. I think the UFC early UFC's proved it because he was like going against like other martial arts and and like I said. And I've said this before in other things, not necessarily in this context, but probably 5 years before that, we'd have stupid arguments over like who would win a real fight between
like Chuck Norris and
Van Damme and fucking Steven Seagal.
Like
we're literally debating stupid shit like that.
There we go.
Yeah, so you're talking about like we were talking about stupid shit like that, and we were like literally serious, like we were like, no, And clearly Van Damme would have won because he was at least a fucking.
And he was an actual kickboxer.
He was actually like 500 kickboxer, so yeah, he would have won for sure. But yeah, so we know that now. But at the time, no, we didn't know. Like he was actually a fucking Dutch kickboxer who had a 500 record. So, but yeah, no, we didn't. Who knows? So we didn't. That's why it was cool as shit. So I do agree. Like when guys want to fight now, it's like the UFC. But like, yeah, that's the same with me. But it's totally different though. Like we didn't want to do it for money.
It wasn't a career.
It wasn't a career.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. We wanted to fight for money or like because back then there was no weight class. We never thought we'd even fight.
Well, the story
remember there was no weight class.
Well, that was the thing.
We never thought we were gonna fight ever. Like we just we just want to learn jiu-jitsu.
So one of the first stories I remember you telling me about the fighting days, the glory days that I say jokingly, but. Cause I think this is like my first or second week, but
5 minutes, by the way.
Okay, we were all sitting on the mats, and you were saying we would show up, and they would say, "All right, everyone under 170 over here, everybody over 170 over there," and they started pairing people up.
So this was this was at this would be when you're fighting back in like. So we were up here at my first year at UCF, and this promoter would throw fights at this little bar, this college bar up at Headlights on Saturday afternoons. So it would be like because Saturday nights would be bomb. It was like if you were in college, I don't know where kids go to college, and I don't know where bars are the nice library where the fuck you guys go, but it was kind of like that, but it was like on a Saturday night. So during the day they would put a fucking ring or a cage up and they would throw fights, and they would just get everyone who's local and just say, hey, you want to fight, and
Did they have an athletic commission back then?
Oh, fuck no. Fuck no. There was nothing back then. So they were just like, you guys want to fight? So we'd show up, and they would like, the first thing they would do was separate us by weight. You wouldn't know who you're fighting. They would just be like, everyone under 170 come over here, everyone above 170 go on the other side. And they would just like literally just start pointing at people like, you're gonna fight him. You don't know who the fuck is who, you know. But you know, in their defense a little bit, we were all kind of new, so no one really knew fucking, you know. It'd be different if there was like some secret black belts from Brazil, but there was no, you know, like I said, everyone was so new to training, so it wasn't super bad. Occasionally you'd see the occasional mismatch, but yeah, that's kind of pretty much how it was.
Did they give you any money?
Oh no, we got a fucking bar tab. And most of us weren't even fucking old enough to drink anyway, so it's stupid. Yeah, no, we got a fucking little cheap medal, but that's what I'm saying. We weren't fighting for like career or money. We just wanted to compete after we were training. So, yeah, we'd show up at these little bars and fight, and there was no athletic commission, and those are some of the toughest fights that I've ever been in, actually. So it was cool. I mean,
honest question: were you scared?
Of all of them, yeah. So, but never scared of getting hurt, though. Like, I just...
Is that ignorance, or is that... like, no. You didn't realize... You don't know what you don't know? Like...
No, I think it was just, like, you're always nervous to compete. I think that's... So, for me, it's always been that, you know? Like, I was never worried about, like, getting hurt and shit. I just didn't want to lose, you know? I think a lot of people and shit, you know? So... But, I mean, like, literally, like, back then, some of the fights... We had this one fight, and... It's Juan Anaconda fought in that same shot. So
Juan Anaconda fought?
Juan Anaconda fought that same night. This is like fucking 98. It was at the Palladium. I remember getting out of class. I was at the UCF. I got out of class and I was like, I'm gonna go fight. So like I would drive over to this place and me and this guy, like he was under 200, and so that was close enough, you know. And I was like 170. And we just. There was no commission, so you could kick to the face on the ground. So we ended up just.
Did you have were your hands bound, or was it bare knuckle?
No, we had gloves on and stuff.
Okay.
But I
gloves.
I remember we were like, it was a 120-minute round, and so there was no rounds and shit. It was just 120-minute fight, 120-minute round. So like we were on the ground, we're both trying to ankle lock each other, and this is like 14 minutes in. And he's heel kicking me in the face like over and over and over. And it just like it was so bad, and like the fight ended up being a draw. Like there's no ever recording of it, but it was the worst. Like I couldn't go to class for a week after that. Like we were doing stupid shit because we didn't know. Like back then we were still like Dean put like a fucking steak on my eye because he thought he thought that actually would work. You know, like I don't know. Like, does that work? I don't know if that actually does something.
I think it's just the cold.
Yeah, like we put a steak on my eyeball and shit.
That's from watching Rocky,
dude. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, we used to do raw. Like, I have fucking stupid fucking pictures of it, but it was bad, man. But that's like I remember getting out of class and like going to fight. You know, like that's how different it was. You know, like back then. You know, but so.
But that was like the only opportunity.
Because we never thought the sport would take off like it would. Like if we knew like, hey, this shit matters. Like, hey, you gotta like, we would have like you know back then we were just like hey, you train, let's go compete, let's just have fun. You know, we never thought that the sport.
Like you weren't like peaking.
No, we never.
Like you weren't like tapering to a.
Yeah, no, shit, hell no. We never thought like you know. And then like 2 years later, like around 2000 is when we went to start going to Japan. Like Dean got to Shudo, and then I went to Shudo a little bit afterwards and stuff. And that's when it was like, okay, we, you know, like now we got to take this shit serious. But before then, like, I mean, we have so many fights that weren't ever recorded and shit. And like, it was weird though, but it was like some of the toughest things that we ever did, you know.
How did one get noticed?
Like Dean fought in a mall one time. Like the one time they put a cage up in a mall, and like I swear to God, like he fought this like. This Muay Thai guy, like the guy was like fucking 200 pounds. Dean was like, yeah, it was fucking
like 160.
Yeah, he was like, no, he wasn't even that heavy. Like at the time, you know, like yeah, it was bad, man. But you know, Dean ended up choking him out, but it was just so funny, you know, like
because he knew jiu-jitsu.
Because he knew jiu-jitsu, like yeah, and back then no one knew jiu-jitsu. Everyone was just like, yeah, it was just like so.
So how did like to get your foot in the door when in something that's like budding like this? How did guys like Dean get noticed? Like, did you guys apply anywhere, or did the guy happen to come and see you guys fight in one of these local events?
We had a local guy here, and you know, rest in peace, but his name was Jamie Levine, and he's got a bad rep, mixed rep in MMA and stuff like that. But he threw a big show here in Orlando.
Some of those DVDs, bro.
Yeah, so he threw a show here and stuff like that, and he worked with us a lot. He was kind of our manager for a few years and stuff like that. But because he ended up throwing a big show. At one point, the WF If you look at his card in, his card was bigger than the UFC. Like
he had some legit.
His cards were bigger than the UFC's in like 2000, 2001. And he threw some big cards, and because he was our guy, he was the guy speaking for us. He got us in the door in a lot of places and stuff like that. So he put us on his shows, obviously, and then that got us into hook and shoot. We drive to Indiana and stuff, and remember the whole.
There's a name.
Yeah. So then after that, then we went to Shudo.
You don't
and
even know what hook and shoot is, do you?
Yeah.
No, of course not.
No. So then once after hook and shoot, we started to fight. Yeah. Once we got in the shooter, then it was all like we could do whatever we wanted from there and stuff like that. But
you were in UFC 13?
No, it was after like 31 or 32.
Oh, yeah. You fought
like
Tony D'Souza? No, that was in WFA.
I don't even remember half the guys. So I remember, that was like 2000 or something. Because I got offered a few more fights in the UFC, and it just wasn't at the time. It was better to go to Japan. So.
Yeah, because that's where the money was, right? Like they appreciated fighting more.
Yeah, it was just the options were better in the UFC and stuff like that. So so it was what it was and stuff like that. It wasn't until 2006 that people wanted to fight in the UFC.
So how did you end up in ADCC trials?
Same thing. I was competing a lot and shit.
I gotta run.
All right.
Oh, we finally got you on. We finally got you. It took enough.
We're winding this down anyway.
Yeah, we're winding. No, I just I'd been grappling a lot. I won a lot of Naga super fights. I'd won a lot of so. I got the.
You have to answer this before I go. Answer it after I leave. Message to all the students during all of this nonsense.
Oh, we already did. You already said work on your mental health. Were you not listening? Were you not a good student listening?
3.
Okay, well, his face is red.
When I went to the Abu Dhabi thing,
where were the trials held?
Indianapolis.
And was it open invite or
no? You had to get it was a qualifier. You had to get invited and stuff like that. So there was So yeah, that was how that was. But no, I had won a bunch of super fights and Naga super fights and stuff, and because I had fought and stuff like that, I got an invite. I made it to the finals until I ran into Matt Serra, and then Matt Serra fucking. Yeah, but it was what it was. Matt Serra was like at the time. Matt Serra was Henzo's first black belt. He was supposed to win a tournament and stuff. He was one of the first American black belts and stuff. And
then he admitted later that he actually he made it to the finals in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, and he threw it to Machado. But no. But even like when we were going, he neck cranked me. But he was clearly better than me though. At the time, sure, I was probably a blue belt at the time. I was.
You're a blue belt competing in ADCC. Like that's the level then.
For me, because I wasn't formally trained in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Matt was. There was other black belts there, but I wasn't. I hadn't.
You had grappling experience, but not formal.
I had already fought in US. I already fought.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just hadn't formally got belted. Gotcha. I hadn't formally started with a jiu-jitsu instructor for another year or two. So I was probably at a blue belt level and stuff like that, But when I went there, like I said, I had to go against like Mikey Burnett, who had already fought in the UFC, Dennis Hallman, who I'd already beat in grappling, but Dennis had won the Abu Dhabi trials the year before. He went to he actually submitted Jeremy Horn, a few guys the year before in Abu Dhabi and shit. He was there, so I had to go against him. So I had a pretty tough bracket and stuff, but that's the only grappling match I've ever lost, actually. It's a mess. Which is cool, Matt's a cool dude, and like I said, he's,
Yeah, man, UFC.
Yeah, no. Well, honestly, I think if he would have just, he's one of the best grapplers. He just switched to MMA.
What weight class were you guys fighting?
So that was at like 69.
At
so
69.
Yeah, and we were both probably 55ers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was always his thing. He was always kind of chunky.
Yeah, and like I said, so I was too. Like so like my first I had a lot of fights at 170 that. When I probably should have been fighting at 55, so because I weighed like 167, 168, so, but yeah.
All right, well, dude, as we close this down, you're a big goal setter. And you've actually been public about goals. Like I know you post on social media for whatever reason, accountability, because you just want to put out there. What are you kind of like? now that I know this Corona thing's throwing a wrench in a lot of people's goals.
Yeah, fuck yeah. My life is throwing a wrench this year. Yeah. So yeah, for those of you guys who know, I've had a few big wrenches thrown into my life this year.
Regardless of that, moving forward for the rest of this year, what's like one or two of the things you're trying to focus on?
So what do you like?
It could be personal, it could be business, whatever you want. Like
that's fuck, man.
All right. Well, I know you're on your way to get best shape of your life.
Yeah. So Well, that one, everyone knows that one. That one's kind of easy and stuff like that. So,
but how about for the academy and your own personal jiu-jitsu goals?
Yeah, well, I don't want to like.
All right.
No, hold on, no. So let me say. So for the academy, like I don't have any like artificial goals per se. You know, I do have like certain student counts I want to get, but it's not even like for me. If I like, and this is like I did have like, okay, I want to get to this number of students, but that's not, you know how I get to that number of students is taking care of the ones I have. So this whole shutdown is like put in perspective to me, like it's actually motivated me. Like it's weird, but it's actually motivated me. I cannot wait to open. I want to get back to work. This has been the longest I've ever taken from not teaching, you know. So I actually want to get back to like get on the floor, and I want to get back to connecting with my people and stuff like that. So, you know, I did have a student goal, but the you know, to the amount of students I want to teach and stuff like that. But the biggest thing with that is to take care of my existing students, and that never stood more clearly than now. Is like, goddamn, you know, like the people who are sticking with me through all this bullshit right now. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, I'm gonna hug the shit out of fucking all of you. Fuck it, all of you. All of you. I'm gonna hug the shit out of all of you, stuff like that. So on a personal level, you know, I just, like I said, that's a tricky one because I've gone through. That one's tricky right so far this year, you know, like I've had to I really looked into the Tony Robbins thing this year, and goal setting and stuff like that, and I've had to go back and readjust my goals.
Sure. Well, I mean,
usually you don't do it this early, but I've had to because of this Corona thing and because of my personal life, you know, like I've had to go back and like, you know, so I definitely want to reconnect with some people. I definitely want to like, definitely be a better coach, but definitely be a better friend to some of the people out there and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'm staying positive through all this, even though I'm complaining about the fucking armbar and pillows with no arms and shit. You know, that's driving me crazy. But through all this, you know, I'm staying positive with it. I'm actually optimistic. You know, I'm very like, this is just gonna end. Like I know people are like, you know, if I sounded pessimistic today, this all's gonna end. Life's gonna go on. We're gonna succeed. The gym's everyone's gonna get better in jiu-jitsu. We're all gonna. This is all gonna get better. I'm 110% certain of it. You know, so no matter who wins the fucking election in November, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah. This is bigger than that.
Yeah, we're still gonna. Everything's gonna be. You know, so I'm like So I'm narrowly focused, but at the same time, I'm in a good place. So considering all things that are
yeah, and I think everybody is super excited for, you know, to get back to their routine and everything.
Yeah, but let me say this though, because this might be something I don't know. You know, because I am actually like, you know, one of my goals was to get in shape and get light this year, but I'm actually going to compete this year a lot, you know, so.
Oh, he's saying
yes, there it is.
It's on record.
It's on record. So, like, there it is. So, like I am actually looking forward to getting out there. I don't care if it's where it's at, you know, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's, you know, if it's the local Naga tournament. Like I said, I don't care if it's the fucking No Geek Worlds later this year. I don't care what it is, but I'm actually looking forward to getting out there and competing. I actually need to, you know, so that's definitely one of my goals this year. That was one of my goals I set in December. So before all this bullshit happened, that was one of my goals. So I knew that, you know, so when you see me like pushing a sled and fucking feeling like shit, that's one of my motivations behind it. You know, it's not just to look good aesthetically later, but which helps, but which because I put that out there too, you know. But one of my goals right now is to get there and stuff like that. So is to compete this year. And I've said that before, but not initially with this necessarily this
gravitas.
Yes, no, not with this gravitas. You know, like I feel like I almost have something to prove. You know, like I just, you know, so that's a weird thing to say. You know, but
if that's something that I don't mind saying on behalf of the students here, you don't have to do anything on behalf of the students. You know what I mean? If that's something you want to prove to yourself, that's fine.
Yeah, but
you know,
I feel like I almost have something to prove right now. So just like, damn, I gotta, you know, so that motivates me. That gets me up. That you know, like, you know, when I don't want to do something, it just makes me think of it. I'm like, all right, I can't tell you guys to do something, and you know, and then fucking.
Well, hey, man, I mean, and your opponents are training too. Like that's always whenever I've been competing in my tennis days, it was like if I'm not training, that's the day that my opponents are getting stronger. So it's the same thing. Just thanks for everything. You're the man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everybody, and I'm saying this on behalf of everyone. Like the reason this gym is successful and the reason you have so many members of this tribe is a direct result of the work you put into it, and I know you're a humble guy, but yeah, man, thanks.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, and I look forward to being back on, man. So
yeah,
let's do it.
All right.